Hello everyone, Gustavo Studios here with another video. And today I'm going to be talking about more lores about each of the every single killer in Game of Death. This is a part 2, and without further ado, let's get started. Alright, so for starters, for part 2 of this, now the next killer on the list to talk about is the Figure. Now, just like Seek, Figure doesn't have any lore. However, how was the Figure taken by the demon? Well, the Figure was hunting down a survivor, having trouble trying to find them because, well, it's blind. Until one of the survivors inside the hotel made an extremely loud noise, which alerted the Figure. The Figure started to approach the noise that he heard it from. As the Figure got close to the one who made said sound, the demon showed up and snatched the Figure just then and there. Now the Figure is in the demon's realm, now going to kill any of those who dares to come close to it. Next, actually, the next 3 set of killers. Yes, killers. There's 3 killers we gotta be talking about this time. The proxies, also known as Tiki Toby, Masky, and Hoodie. Um, Obviously, I don't know. I kind of know a bit of Tiki Toby's lore, but I don't know the other two's lore, so I can't really tell too much about them. However, how did these 3 end up getting kidnapped by the demon? How did these 3 proxies of Slenderman end up in the demon's realm? Well, ever since the proxies began to find out that their boss, the Slenderman, is missing, they decided to start searching for him. Unfortunately, while they were searching, they eventually come across the demon himself when they were searching around an abandoned house. The demon realized that they are his. That the demon realizing that they are Slenderman's proxies, he decided to invite them, as they willingly showed up to the demon's realm. Now they are in the demon's realm, killing survivors. Hey, at least they get to meet their boss again, the Slender Man. Next killer on the list, the mutant, also known as Acidus. Acidus was a zombie, a mutated spider-like zombie in a way. It was once a regular man, a regular human, until as some time later it became infected and turned into a zombie. However, it was killed. And of course, after it was killed, the zombie itself was taken to a lab, experimented on, to be created by some kind of weapon or some sort. However, eventually the experiment went wrong, as the zombie is now not a normal zombie, but a mutated spider-like zombie. It escaped the lab, killing most lab members in the process. Many years go by ever since Acidus has escaped. However, there is a certain time where a zombie apocalypse has happened. Well, not just any zombie apocalypse, just some kind of apocalypse in general. Acidus was involved in said apocalypse, as it went out of his way to kill a bunch of soldiers that it has encountered. Ever since it finished off all the soldiers, the demon arrived and simply snatched Acidus. And now Acidus is in the demon's realm, ready to kill more survivors. Next killer on the list, good old Springtrap himself, also known as William Afton. Now, I'm not going to really explain about his lore, to be honest, because his lore is really just self-explanatory at this point on. So I'm just going to talk about how the fuck he got kidnapped and taken to the demon's realm and to begin with. So how did he end up in the demon's realm? How did the demon somehow kidnap Springtrap? Well, ever since Fazbear's Fright was being burned down when Springtrap failed to kill the Night Guard, Springtrap was about to succumb to the fire. However, unfortunately, instead of being burned down along with the building collapsing on him, the demon showed up and decided to take Springtrap himself into the demon's realm. Now Springtrap is in the demon's realm, as he is now going to kill all survivors that end up in the same game as he is in. Next killer on the list, the ambush, also known as just ambush from doors. Just like Seek and Figure, he doesn't have any lore. But how did he get kidnapped by the demon? Well, there is a scenario where Ambush was about to kill someone that was inside a hotel. However, as soon as he got close enough to kill that said survivor that was inside the hotel, boom, the demon showed up right in front of Ambush and immediately snatched him into the demon's realm. Now Ambush is trapped in the demon's realm, ready to kill everyone! Next up, the Rusher, also known as Rush from Doors. Just like Seek, Figure, and Ambush, Rush doesn't have lore. However, how did he get kidnapped by the demon? The same exact fucking scenario that Ambush just ended up to. Yep, that's just about it. Now, yep, exactly the same situation of what happened with Ambush. Now the Rusher's just in the demon's realm, ready to kill everyone. That's it. Next up, the Deft, also known as Deft, a fan-made Doors monster. Now, how did Deft end up in the demon's realm? Do I really need to fucking explain this? The same situation that just happened with Rush and Ambush. He almost killed someone, but the demon just popped up right then and there and snatched him. And now, Deft is in the demon's realm, killing everybody. Next up, the Madman. The Madman was a serial killer, a person who tends to go out of his way to only kill individuals who are in the more quiet place. Why specifically killing people in quiet areas? Simple, because when he's in places that is quiet, and if the people end up screaming in pain and agony in quiet places, no one's going to be able to hear them because they're all alone in a swamp. Well, pretty much not just a swamp, any quiet place in general. Because the madman himself prefers to, well, kill those in quiet places. However, one night he was in a dark forest, chasing after somebody that he was trying to kill. However, eventually the demon caught him and kidnapped him. However, now the madman is now trapped in the demon's realm, ready to kill people without worrying about consequences. The Rake is the next killer on the list. Just like Slenderman, the Rake is an urban legend, just like Slenderman. Nothing much is known about the Rake other than what he is described to look like or what people theorize of what he looks like, and the fact that he mostly resides around forest. Nothing is known to how he was kidnapped by the demon, but just like Slenderman, rumors begin to spread. Either he was willingly coming to the demon's realm, or he was just kidnapped. Now he is in the demon's realm, ready to hunt those down in his territory. And the last killer on part 2 of talking about each of the lore different characters in Game of Death is none other than the Stalkus. Nothing is known about the Stalkus, but the Stalkus stalks people. Depending how long it is, he could be stalking them for days, weeks, months, or even possibly go as far as to stalking them for an entire year. Eventually, once said certain time goes by, depending how long he decides to stalk the victim for, he will eventually finally go out of his way to kill said victim he's been stalking for God knows how long. One time, he was stalking an individual known as Darnus Damnison. Eventually, the stalker finally goes out of his way to try to kill Darnus Damnison, as Darnus himself actually fought back against the creature. However, the Stalkus ended up losing the battle against Darnus. Darnus was about to finish him off with one final blow of a shotgun. However, when the Stalkers was about to meet his fate, the demon showed up, saved his life by taking him to the demon's realm. But now the Stalkers is in the demon's realm, ready to not only stalk, but to kill the survivors. And that's just the part 2 of each of the lore of each of the killers and Game of Death. I will make a part 3 when that happens. I will see you all next time. Peace.